So then he later talks about the designs of the characters and their personalities versus the original series, which I don't really have too much to say about that. I mean, I do kind of agree, the designs of the characters are kind of uncanny compared to their original designs, especially like, the fact that the vehicle characters don't really have their classic grill mouths anymore that they were well known for in the original series. Then again, Lofty never had a grill mouth. He just had like a normal mouth like we do, kind of, except kind of more, I don't know. His mouth always kind of looked like a clown mouth to me, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, that's besides the point. He also later talks about the fact that like Muck, the red dump truck slash what the heck is Muck anyway? I gotta look this up. Okay, so Muck is apparently a track dumper, and that's basically just a half bulldozer, half dump truck. I was wondering what those were. I never even knew those things existed. But yeah, James over here went on, a bit of a, tangent about like the fact that Muck is apparently a male in the US stub of the reboot. And he later talked about the fact that, in the US stub of the original series, Muck was a female.
Muck is male in the US dub of the reboot. Yeah, for those who haven't seen it yet, in the US dub of the original series, they decided to make Muck a female character instead of keeping him male. That still boggles me, even to this day. Did they change the gender just so they can have an unnecessary gender balance thing to the main cast? No one was complaining about the amount of male characters here in the UK, so why did they even bother with it? So, for all of those people who grew up watching the US dub of the show, they're all going to be confused as hell when they find out that Muck is now suddenly male in this reboot.
Now, a couple things I want to bring up when he talked about this. Yeah, it is kind of unnecessary that they didn't make Muck a female in the US dub of Bob the Builder. I don't know why they did it, but this is kind of like, what they did with Tugs here in the US, where they, let me just say this first. Tugs never really got properly localized here in the US. I talked about this a little bit in my Tugs episode of It Came From England, but the show basically got re-edited for another show called Salty's Lighthouse, and basically it just like had the Tugs characters on Salty's Lighthouse in a segment on the show, and some of the characters were changed genders on there as well. Captain Star, Sunshine, and then one other character, I can't remember their name, but yeah, Tugs went through a similar situation, which was also kind of ridiculous. Then again, let's not talk about the Salty's Lighthouse Tugs, but yeah, fun fact, by the way, when Thomas was about to be dubbed for the US, Edward was originally going to be a female, and I think was going to be named Blaine. Be thankful that didn't happen. And in regards to your comments saying, oh, fans of the original US dub will be confused that, like, Muck is now a male in the reboot of the US dub. Honestly, I'm gonna assume, like, fans of the original series here in the US probably have internet access and are probably aware that this character was male in the UK and was originally male to begin with, so I don't think they would be that bothered by it. Then again, this is just me thinking. This doesn't relate to the entire Bob the Builder community on the internet, but yeah, don't really have much else to say about when it comes to, talking about Muck and gender and SJW. Moving on. Then he later talks about the voice actors they chose for this reboot, and I'm personally not going to say anything yet. I'm just going to let this clip just play out itself.
Richard Ian Cox, Ian James Corlett, Jacob Scipio, Steve Kindman, of course, Joanne Froggatt, Lee Ingleby, wait a minute, Vincent Tong, Blake Harrison, Claire Corlett?
Judging from your profile picture and a lot of the content on your channel and the fact that you mentioned that you're a fan of this show, it doesn't surprise me too much that you recognize some of these voice actors from being a part of this show that must not be named.
What are you doing here, Claire? Was there really no other voice roles you could choose from? Okay, I don't know how much you know about the original Bob the Builder, or if you ever grew up watching the original series, but did you ever question the scripts they were giving you?
Voice actors mostly just do this because, well, they enjoy what they do and, you know, they make a living off of it, so I don't really think they 100% care about, like, what scripts they get or if they know about the source material that they're voicing for, unless you're Bill Murray on the Garfield movie, and, well, Billy West refused to be a part of the Ren and Stimpy Adult Party cartoon, which makes sense because he had a pretty toxic relationship with John Christopher Lucy, along with a lot of other people, but that's another discussion for another day. So he then goes on talking more about the reboot, mostly with the fact that they've reused stories from the classic series a few times, and also during season 3 of the reboot, they changed the animation style, and I do kind of agree with him. It doesn't look as great compared to, you know, the first 2 seasons. I mean, yeah, it's like, doesn't look as textured, looks unfinished. It looks like the beta of a video game, if anything. So, yeah. To kind of compare it, I guess I would say, you know, the first 2 seasons of the About to Build a Reboot, it's basically Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare 1, and Garden Warfare 2. And season 3 of the reboot is basically just Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. Pretty obscure reference, I know. So then he also briefly talks about the episode from the 3rd season that basically sort of talks about the origin of how Bob became a builder. And he complained how, like, they used some of the same plot lines from Bob's backstory from the original series. So this is where I find that kind of funny, and in my opinion, it just sort of, I don't know, sort of contradicts some of the stuff that, you know, James said, you know, throughout the video. You know, he's complained about, like, you know, how the reboot was too different from the original series, but then he also complained how one of the things that was in the reboot is just too similar to the original series. Like, make up your mind, dude. Do you want it to be different from the original series? Do you want it to be the exact same from the original series? Make up your mind. Ow.
Despite all of the problems I've spent the past few minutes complaining about,
Judging from the fact that your video on the About to Build a Reboot was 31 minutes and 41 seconds long, it's way more than a few minutes, buddy. So that was everything I had to talk about with James A. Williams' video on the Bob the Builder reboots. Unfortunately, I don't have as many things to talk about with this as I thought I did going into this, so I do apologize for that, but I don't know. I felt like I got my job done, if you know what I mean. I'm just, never mind. Moving on. One more little thing I gotta talk about. Take a look at the end screen of this video. On the left, it says, subscribe for more video in the future, instead of subscribe for more videos in the future. Just a bit of a grammatical mistake that I wanted to briefly mention, but yeah, nothing harmful. But yeah, like I've mentioned earlier in this episode, this video of his was his most popular review video. Now, he's had other videos on his channel that are more popular than this. He has like some kind of Thomas CGI video that has reached 42 million views. I can never reach 42 million views in my lifetime. So, wow. But, also, yeah, this video got, like, you know, a decent amount of criticism. I mean, the like to dislike ratio is, like, not terrible, but, like, it's kind of noticeable. The likes are, as of me recording this video, it's 5.5 thousand likes, and the dislikes are basically just 1,000, so only about approximately approximately like 15 to 16% of people who saw the video didn't like it, so it's not a huge problem, but like, if you look at the comments of this video, you do every now and then see, you know, a negative comment like, oh, you're a grown man reviewing children's content, what the hell? Now, this video of his got the attention of another YouTuber by the name of Emperor Lemon. Now, I'm sure some of you are probably familiar with him. He makes YouTube poops and meme videos. On April Fool's Day of 2018, which, by the way, the original About to Build the Reboot video came out on February 4th, 2018, so basically 2 months afterwards, Emperor Lemon made a video called The Problems with the Teletubbies Reboot, which basically, as it was uploaded on April Fool's Day, it was a joke video. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously, and it was basically meant to sort of make fun of, you know, the About to Build the Reboot video, and I highly recommend watching that Teletubbies Reboot video by Emperor Lemon. It's hilarious. It sort of makes fun of a lot of the negative things James A. Williams said about the About to Build a Reboot. Like, for example, the inconsistent plot points, like, you know, oh, you know, it's being too similar to the reboot, or oh, it's being too different from the reboot. And also criticizing, you know, changing, you know, the characters of the reboots compared to the original series, and making certain characters side characters. It's funny. I would definitely recommend watching Emperor Lemon's video. Although if you also want to watch James A. Williams' video yourself, be my guest, but Emperor Lemon's video is fucking hilarious. So with that being said, that officially about does it for this episode of It Came From England. James A. Williams, in case you're watching this, which I kind of doubt you are, because you got like 80,000 subs, and I'm like, you know, way below, you know, your rank when it comes to popularity, but like, in case you're watching this video, I'm not trying to attack you or anything, I'm just basically stating my thoughts on what I think about your video. Have there been any other people on the internet who have done commentaries on you? I don't think so. So, yeah. And then for any of my fans out there who are watching this video, don't go attacking James A. Williams. He's a pretty normal guy. He seems pretty normal to me. I just personally don't agree with some of the stuff he said, you know, in his video. And several of his other contents as well. But, yeah. That'll about do it. That's about it for this episode of It Came From England, officially. If you guys liked it, feel free to give it a like. Hit subscribe if you want to see more episodes of It Came From England and just mediocre plush content in general. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. That is about it. This is Tyler from the Character Workshop, signing out.